Everybody ready? Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala khairil mursaleen. Muhammadin an-Nabi al-Ummi. Wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. يقول الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Today we want to talk a little bit about, let's call it management. We organize ourselves last month, and we call it organizational structure and teamwork. All of that comes out of management. And I had something I was going to say tonight, and I just breezed through one of our old things, strategic management under conditions of repression. I also have some of the old articles, Management in Islam, and this 2009 to-do list has this wonderful graph right here of strategic management, you know what it is. And so I'll just be general and try not to take too long. Why is strategic management important? Islamic organizations of all types and sizes continually face new and changing situations. Being able to cope with constant destabilizing, destructive, and diversionary tactics means that any Islamic organization that wants to survive and thrive in a hostile, anti-Islamic environment must operate on the highest level of strategic proficiency. There is a structured, systematic approach that is needed to cope with the uncertain environment and situations clearly faced today by the Islamic movement. The strategic management process is such that it forces Islamic workers and Muslims in administrative positions to examine all the important aspects of a situation before determining the most suitable decisions and actions. Recent studies clearly indicate that organizations which collected information and used analytical techniques made more effective strategic decisions than those that did not. Well, it's clearly some of the things about strategic management, organization, leadership, focus, all of those things that we're dealing with right now. The main thing we're dealing with right now is, first of all, is we're going into a new transitional stage. This stuff is so repetitive, but still each stage is a little bit higher than the last. As you rewrite the stage that you're in and you go back and review, you find that your writings, even whatever year they were, very clear and very concise. So, in this situation right now, what we're dealing with is management, leadership, vision, and goal setting. And we call this leadership under stage 3, encirclement and suppression. That's basically something. You don't have to write that, but that's what it is. So management, first of all, The easiest way to do good management, the easiest way, is to have goals. If you don't know nothing about anything, it's to organize goals. So goal setting is one of the easiest and most primitive. But now, what will your goals consist of? Your goals could consist of, if you have a picture or vision of what you want to look like, what you want to be like, and what you want to become. Let's call it, just becoming. What I want to do when I grow up, what I want to be when I grow up. That's what it is. What do we want As-Sabiqun to look like by 2030? Okay. In some goal setting, we've set up some goals for 2030. We have preliminary goals for 2020 vision. 2020 vision is just a play off of vision, what we want to look like by 2020. That means by 2020, we have to organize what we have right now and move to a position by 2020 to begin to move toward the stage of 2030. Now 2030 just looks kind of like this overall. We say from 20 to 30, even maybe 50 Masjid by then. Why do we want to do that? Number one, we have to stabilize ourselves. Now, remember, our writings have clearly talked about this. We're called to the Ummah that we're going to call the people and bring them to a certain spot, mainly over. We're going to teach and train all of those things that we have, paperwork outlines, that we already have certain goals and things that we want to do. Right? We want to teach, we want to train the people, strategic management under conditions of repression, College of Islamic Movement Studies, all of those things, College of Islamic Movement and Islamic Studies. And one relating to strategic Islamic studies. So that means now we have to set up the base for all of that what we want to do. Now we're going to be moving all right along. For instance, we don't have to do this thing first, then do that thing. We're moving and evolving according to the time, place, and circumstance. We're right now evolving our movement and our organization so that by 2030 we will have a movement and an organization. Okay, you might want to stop and say, yeah, but look at all the stuff you went through before. Look at all the police, look at the people that are okay. Just like we got to where we are right now, under 24/7. That's the way it's been. Since I can remember, since we opened the Masjid in Oakland in 1980, it was encirclement and suppression from day one, because it was encirclement and suppression all the other times, even in Jahiliyyah. Here's what we know. We know that the system has people going around in the neighborhoods, smelling, looking in garbage cans, listening to whistles, everything. They're looking for potential leadership. The system discovers the good potential leaders generally before the people do. Now you got to remember, they're in the churches, they're in the organizations, they're everywhere. That's why the defense budget is a black box. Nobody knows what it is. Because the number of people that they hire and the amount of money that's used on that stuff like that is so astronomical. that you would wonder, why do they need that many people on the payroll? You don't learn that. You know how you learn how the system really works? It's by what we've been doing. For instance, we see all the news broadcasts. The average person looked at, oh, so-and-so's a learning newscaster and what have you. Well, we know if we watch Answer and all of that, well, we know that they started them off, that the ex-attorney general starts Answer, and they go to Iraq in the early 90s and what have you, or in the 90s, and they do depleted uranium and all of that, and they get a name, and then they do Answer, and they're popular. And you can tell those type of people, because if you and I, or the Islamic movement, have a demonstration, it's hard to get 1,000 people, right? But when Answer, remember the women's movement? Imagine, this woman was Southside, or whatever her name is, pops up and they have the place flooded down there. And you notice the people's paying a lot of attention to us, like they're told to pay attention. And the phony communist, the communist guy with his red star. When I started shooting a few things about the real communists, he didn't hardly know nothing. He didn't know well, we're such and such a family problem. Okay. The other people watch the news and they think those people earn that position. We watch the news. I remember when I came here, Mr. Zulu, somebody, I could tell when I read The Hill or some guy with Howard, I looked at the name and I saw what it was doing. I said, that is the United States government agent. And everything that they do fits into that. Right? They get up under a guy that's not teaching it too, but he don't like, he sure talk about Jews and white folks a lot, and actually mean it. I remember when the head of the Negroes was in L.A. having his white suits, and I remember way back when, back in the 70s. I might remember back in the 60s. But anyway, there he was. Rolls Royce also. Yeah. It was bad if Rolls Royce driving John, a minister in a certain group that got a Rolls Royce, talking about helping the people. It's like the great loving minister and his farm and all of that. People say, that guy is really solid. It's a leader that has mostly poor people in it. And they're living on a ranch and got big opulent houses and grand Mercedes and stuff. I said, they have a different style than we do. What we have learned was, we've learned how the system works. We know how WPFW works. And everybody thinks it's a dynamic alternative station. And a guy come here with his whacking that hat on, and I see him, and I said, whacking that. He's doing some guard stuff out there at IEC. And I tell them, I say, y'all know who you got? And people have been with me that time 30 years. No, he's over there. I said, well, something's wrong with them. You know what I mean? And then, next thing, they talking black talk. And they down in the station. And not that I know anything about it, but every subject that I was 100% on would never call me down there. They didn't have anybody on talking about it but me.
you know, you talking about the Answer Coalition.
Right.
If you notice that when they got that platform going, they had everybody named Mama on the platform. That's what helped propel them. They had gays. They had everybody. Remember the one lady we thought was a guy and it was really a girl. And then
freckle face, that was the ugliest girl I've ever seen in my life.
And then when you talk about Linda Sarsour, whatever it is, same thing. The Women's March.
Right.
The Women's March had everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how they identify those leaders in that coalition, and then next thing you know, they're the spokespeople.
What I'm saying is the government organizes it for them. Because the government got everybody, they organize it for them. They don't pop up and put that together themselves.
Right.
That's how you know. When they have these national, you know, we didn't have so many demonstrations. We know when the real down-to-earth organizations call people, they get 1,500, or they rolling if they get 500 people. But these big super marches, all cleared by the government. They're all government marches. Literally all of them. Maybe the NRA and all those people can get it. So the point I'm making is, by us being active, we have learned firsthand how this whole structure works. So they can't send nothing by us. So strategic management for us under conditions of repression means that we formed the organization. We have certain vision. We have certain goals that we want to meet. We expect. That's what anticipation and expectation is. That's what As-Sabiqun do. That's what our name is. We anticipate what they're going to do now. In our move right now, we clearly anticipate basically everything they're going to do. And we're prepared for it. If we've been prepared for it the last 3 times, we survived them, we thrived on them. And remember, after the cycle, and we're in the position that we're in, you say, well, all the people is gone. I said, all the people was theirs. And the first thing they're going to do, how many times do you have to call it? They have to call the people back. And they all had allegiance, they all had bear, they all had da-da-da-da-da. They had absolutely no excuse for packing up. Nobody asked me nothing. Nobody said a word to me. The 2 in LA, they're As-Sabiqun and headquarters. Headquarters is 100% Shias, all supposed to be my fan club. When it's time to pack up, just like the ones that was over at the ISNA program that time, those were from headquarters. They packed up. And the thing about it, nobody says nothing, nobody calls. Imagine all that going on in the other last month. What's the name coming here from LA? The leader of, let's say the leader of As-Sabiqun. And said, well, we never took our Bayah back, I just want to know what you think we should do. I said, not a damn thing. I said, hell, you coming, it's 10 years since I've even seen you. So don't worry about it. You know, don't worry about it.
Just take your bed and do whatever you've been doing.
And this is September the 9th. We had that program, I don't know if you ever saw it, for Imam in Irvine. That's the biggest money we ever raised, about $100,000. Same people that come here, they organize it. They put it together. Ahmed Shaka was there, Ahmed Yusuf, all the big names. Because they brought them. Everybody came happily. I didn't invite them. I didn't do nothing. I let them do it. Why? Because you think I was soccer them going to come? I'm happen to be a speaker. when I watched right at the program, we were there early, and I'm watching one of our brothers structure and organize the security. He's calling this off and pacing this off. I said, this guy is CIA trained. And when he was here in the early years, I said, hey, I have a little time, I can take you around and show you all the monuments and things. He said, that's okay, I've seen them all. I said, oh yeah? He said, yeah, I came here with the Republican high school thing. I said, no, fine. And acts like one, you know what I mean? Here's the point I'm making. We don't allow the possible obstacles that we're going to face alter our goals. We set our goals. This is the power of goal setting. That you set your goals, and there's three basic phases. The goals should be basically clear, what you're trying to do. That's why something that's clear, we can say, let's say by 2000, let's just make it a good solid number. We want to have between 25 to 40 Masjid. By 2030, 20 is sufficient, 15 is sufficient. Fully functional, that's fine, no problem. But those are goals that we can set out, that's a clear goal. Now, the thing about the goals is goal difficulty. Oh, 20, 25, 40%, that's nice. Now, how much difficulty is that going to produce? It's called goal difficulty. You have a clear goal, but how many challenges, how many obstacles, how many all that stuff you're going to have to face? How well structured, how well organized do you have to be in order to overcome all the challenges that you're going to face? How are you going to turn all challenges into opportunities? How are you going to do it? This is what you're going to have to do to get there. You know, because one thing about it, if you've been down a trail before, you know what's on that trail. Like I go to San Francisco, I go to